What's up, football fans? I'm Emory Hunt, the czar of the playbook, and don't forget to check out and grab your copy of our two latest book releases, Football: A Love Story and What Did Football Teach Me? Visit our website at footballgameplan.com/books and get your copies today. Welcome to NFL Game Plan. I'm Emory Hunt, the czar of the playbook, bring you our Week 5 preview between the Indianapolis Colts and the Houston Texans. And we're going to be joined by our football game plan analyst Chris James, Gene Clemens, and also Teron Davenport to break this game down. So let's start this video off by taking a look at my keys to victory.
For the Colts in this ball game is going to be the art of misdirection offensively. That's one way to neutralize the pressure coming from a 3-4 defense. You have to have counters, you have to have your screen game, your misdirection game. Both passing the football and running the football has to be in order if you want to have success. And I would beat the Texans to the spot. They have to beat the Texans to the spot in the running game defensively. Don't allow those guards to get to the opposite side of the formation or to the second level. Beat them to the spot and keep that ground game bottled up. And you want to keep the pocket on the move for whether it is Matt Hasselbeck or Andrew Luck returning from injury. Keep the pocket on the move so that way that pressure can't just tee off and head downhill. Looking at the Texans in this ball game, I think quarterback play has to improve. That's an obvious one, whether it's Ryan Mallett or Brian Hoyer. The quarterback position has to provide consistency for this offense. Otherwise, they're going to find themselves in more games like they saw last week versus Atlanta. And openers are key. That's opening drives, opening up the halves, both offensively and defensively. How you start a drive is ultimately how you finish, and they have to get off to a great start if they want to win. And defensively, I think this goes without saying. T.Y. Hilton has been a Texans killer. Bracket him, take him out of the equation, and force Andrew Luck and or Matt Hasselbeck to go to other options consistently.
This week versus the Indianapolis Colts is all about applying pressure if you're the Houston Texans, and they have two outstanding pass rushers in J.J. Watt and also Jadeveon Clowney. And I'm going to show you how they can get both guys back there on the quarterback and affect the throw. And what we're trying to do is show pre-snap cover 2, but really it's going to be cover 1. We're going to drop this safety back deep. He's going to rotate over and drop back in the middle of the field. Now what we're going to do is take away Matt Hasselbeck or even Andrew Luck, whomever is going to be the starting quarterback. We're going to take away their number 1 option on the strong side. So we're going to have this corner up on the line of scrimmage, and then once this guy releases, his job is to get a good bump, get a good jam, and funnel him to the strong safety who's walking over, and they're combo covering. He's going to play him inside, he's going to play him outside. So that way you have taken away the number 1 option for the quarterback. Now what you're doing with the rest of this defense and the rest of the front, what you want to do on the outside, you want to have the outside linebacker get a good bump on that outside shoulder, get a good chuck, and ride this guy into this zone. So he's dropping back into the zone. You want to have your 5 technique play, contain rush here. You want to loop this guy around. This is where we're going to get creative. We're going to take the nose tackle and bring him across into this strong side, weak side B gap. We're going to have him go here and try to push through that offensive lineman. Why we want to influence maybe a double team here. We're looping this 5 tech around, bringing him inside the A gap. We're dropping the backer here. We're going to drop this backer in the zone here. We're going to have Jadeveon Clowney hard press on the outside. So if we get this good push by this nose tackle and influence this double team help right there, now you have Clowney one-on-one free reign to the quarterback to get back there and put him on the ground. You have this guy drifting back. He's going to zone play, but he's manned up on him. But he's going to drop back a little bit, playing off man coverage on this wide receiver right there. So this is one way they can affect the throw, get pressure up front, get creative, running a little stunt up front with the nose tackle and the weak side 5 technique, trying to free up Jadeveon Clowney, getting to the outside, and you have J.J. Watt. It's going to hard press and play contain on the outside. So this is one way I think the Houston Texans can apply pressure on Matt Hasselbeck or Andrew Luck, whomever's back there in the pocket for the Colts.
Opening up the Colts playbook, you saw last week versus Jacksonville, they did a lot of great things in the running game. I like how they ran their power play. You're going to see, look at these offensive linemen up front, hat on a hat, big on big, body on body. The tight end was able to kick out that last line of defense right there, and Frank Gore was able to pick up 20+ yards, which helped set them up for the winning points. This is the type of success you want to see the Colts have in the running game, because that's going to ultimately help out their passing game. And if they're able to run the football versus this very tough and stingy Texans defense, I think they can have success not only this week but for the rest of the season and get their offense and their team and their season back on the right track.
All right, so we have the Colts at the Texans. My X factor for the Colts is none other than Andrew Luck. He has to find ways to get his weapons involved. Philip Dorsett is averaging 17.1 yards per catch. Get him more touches, allow him to get vertical. They are not doing too well as an offense. Only passing for 250 yards a game. That's very much unlike Andrew Luck, the supposed next thing as far as the quarterbacks are concerned. He needs to get it together. He needs to have a comeback type of performance, and this is an opportunity for him to do so. Therefore, my X factor for the Texans is going to have to be J.J. Watt and that defense. They need to avoid this game going into some type of shootout, and Watt has to get pressure on Andrew Luck, and they have to figure out ways to get him to rush throws so they can create turnovers. At the end of the day, I don't feel the Texans have enough to beat the Colts even at home, and I'm going to go with the Colts 27, Texans 20.
If I'm coaching the Colts, whether it's Luck or whether it's Hasselbeck, I'm going to try to establish my running game. I know that that's the way to alleviate the pressure from my quarterbacks, and I think that's the way that Indianapolis is going to find that balance that they need if they want to continue to strive to be one of the premier teams in the NFL. If I'm Houston, I have to find a way to limit the amount of times that my defense is on the field. They're talented, but they're getting worn down. So I need to be able to establish this run game and make sure that I can work the time of possession in my favor and allow my really talented defense to do what they do best. For me, this is a coin flip game, but if you had to hold me down, I'll take the Colts to win 17-14.
This week's Thursday night game matches up the Indianapolis Colts, and they travel to see the Houston Texans. Now for Houston, we know who to start. It's the start every week, DeAndre Hopkins. Whether they're ahead in the game or trailing, this is the guy they target. Huge confidence level here with this guy. As far as a home sit, until we know where he stands in this offense, Arian Foster, sit him down. Let's let him get a good game under his belt before we actually start making him a fantasy go-to. As far as the way sit, I'm going to go with Frank Gore. Sit him down this week. Frank Gore, in 3 out of the 4 games that have been played this year, has not really shown up yet. We don't know if it's the mix, what's going on, if he's slowing down, but we want to make sure that he gets more consistent in what he's doing. As far as a start, this guy's been the Texans' killer since he came into the league, and that's T.Y. Hilton. Even if for some reason they need Matt Hasselbeck to start, T.Y. Hilton is the guy he gets over the top consistently against this Texans defense. I'm actually going to go with the sleeper as the Texans D. Here's why. I think that they can start to create some pressure up front. We've seen what Luck, if he does play, offers against pressure in his face, completing about 30% of his passes against blitzes. As far as a final score in this game, I'm going to go with the shocker in this one. Didn't happen last week, but I'm going with the Texans 21, Colts 20.
I like the Colts in this ball game. Normally, you want to trust a defense on a short week like this one, but I do think the Colts have a little bit more stability, whether it's Andrew Luck or Matt Hasselbeck at the quarterback position. And that's very important in this ball game. I do see a defensive battle, but the Colts ultimately coming out on top. And as we recap our picks, Chris is being the lone wolf this week. I can't blame him. This Texans team is very strong and they match up well defensively versus the Colts. Should be a great game nonetheless. And we also want to give a huge shout out to Colt fan forums and Texans fan forums for always showing football game plan support.